So Chuck Todd, a guy so adorable he has 2 first names, doesn't believe there's liberal bias in the media. I can only respond by saying, I don't believe there is a Chuck Todd. Here he explains why righties don't do talk shows.
I think that I think that the mythology of the big bad non-conservative media has gotten into some offices, and so that there's this fear of, oh, we can't do anything that's not. It's sort of this, and I feel like it's a mythology that now younger staffers believe, and then it infuses, and then these guys, they actually believe the spin that's out there. Oh my God, that's what the mainstream media does. They do anything to disrupt the conservative agenda. The mythology of that the media is out to get conservatives is believed among more and more actual staffers.
Nice goatee. All right, look, denying media bias at this point has to be like denying science. You're worse than a flat earther. You're a no-earther. Because if you don't believe in media bias, what else do you believe in? That men once rode dinosaurs? That Bill Maher is edgy? In order to deny media bias, you got to deny studies of voting practices of journalists, which reveal liberal purity, the frothy leftism of the journalistic launching pad that is the leafy campus, the scandals where journalists conspired to smear righties as racists, that journalistic whistleblowing is always left on right, and it's never the reverse. See Benghazi as opposed to Plame. The threesome that occurs whenever a lefty shows up on 60 Minutes. But I guess if you believe in an objective media, you'll believe in anything. Like a whistle is better than a gun. Redistribution beats opportunity. Black conservatives are Uncle Toms and female conservatives are scolds. That being born white is racist. That tolerance requires calling terror workplace violence. That our country's energy can be found in Griffin lint. That the Tea Party is more harmful than drug lords. That Occupy Wall Streeters were cuddly muppets. That choice matters before birth, not after. That a border is selfish. That every tenet of the left hasn't saddled most young Americans with a toxic notion of entitlement without achievement, drowning in disposable culture as China ripe our wallets and our hard drives. But it's easy to miss media bias. To quote Madge from Palmolive, you don't see it, my dear, because you're soaking in it.
I like that.
Oh, did you like that, Kimberly?
Yes, it was clever.
You know what?
You ended kind of charming.
Anybody born in our era will know who Madge is, I believe.
I love Madge.
Madge was great. May she rest in peace. Not sure if she's dead, but I'm assuming.
Just in case.
Hey, Bob, is it a mythology? He calls it a mythology that the mainstream media is hostile to conservatives. You're on the other side here, but you must agree.
I must agree.
Yes, with me.
Sit in this seat every day, and you'll begin to agree very quickly. I'm not sure what I'm getting lost here. What the mainstream media is? The definition, as far as I can tell, it's everything but Fox.
Yes.
I mean, is that right?
Yes.
I mean,
and I would say
National Review and talk radio.
Yeah, but I mean, when you talk about in the television business, okay, or cable, you're really coming down to this network is the way I assume they're talking about it, and everybody else now. CNN is mainstream media, MSNBC is mainstream media, everything is mainstream media. So I guess we're out here on an island unto ourselves.
We are.
Do I think people should come on here more? Liberals ought to come here. I've been fighting for this since I've been here. I think it's a good, wide audience that they ought to talk to. Do I think that there is some bias in some of our people on some of those shows? Sure. Do I think there is on the other side? Absolutely. I mean, you can't go to MSNBC and listen to that and not say that there's some bias on the other side.
Some. Andrea, he's saying no one will do the shows where they feel like they're under attack. Do you buy that?
I do. As a former Hill press secretary, why would you want to go on a show that could be hostile to your boss? Then you could take the footage of that. It could end up in a campaign ad against your boss. Also, a lot of people aren't really watching these networks. Look, if you're a Republican member, you're probably from a Republican district. Your constituents aren't watching MSNBC. So why put the person you work for in that situation? If you're a member of Congress, why would you even do it? So, yeah, I actually agree. It's not a mythology, though. There's bias there, and that's why they don't tend to do these more liberal shows.
Do you think, Dana, that somebody in the media can be liberal but keep their bias from affecting their shows?
Yeah.
I don't think you
I do. No, just my experience in
I'm not talking to you anymore.
press office was that I thought that the reporters in the press room tried really hard to be fair.
Yeah.
And maybe that was just because there was a Republican administration, so they're getting information from us directly, and so they would fight for that. But I found that the bias was in other places, but not necessarily in the White House briefing room. I didn't think so.
KG, what do you think?
Very positive.
I know.
Look, I think that Obama obviously has enjoyed one of the most, charming romantic presidencies of all time. He's highly managed. They don't ever put him in front of an interviewer for sure if anyone's going to ask a follow-up question or a probing question or something that sounds in any way to be critical. The mainstream media bias is very real. It's very prevalent. I don't know what Chuck Todd is talking about. I think he knows he doesn't know what he's talking about. That makes no sense to me, what he said.
I don't think he could even answer that question. I think that what they should do is just do their jobs, do it well, and let the chips fall where they may. When the Gallup does their polls of who do you trust in institutions, and they take various ones, and they always do the president's one in Congress, and Congress's is very low. But television media, news media, not just television, is down in the 20s, like 20%. So I don't know who he's trying to convince.
Well, there's a polarization taking place in media, too. People watching it, you can tend to watch what you want to hear, right? It's the same thing going to blogs or places on the internet. But I'm not so sure that that you're exact. I think you're right. I think these reporters do try for the most part. You can't indict everybody because of Candy Crowley or what's his name, Gregory. They're all not like that. I think. But also keep in mind, a lot of them did go to Columbia School of Journalism, and they are more liberal campuses they come out of. And are they more liberal? Of course they are. So I mean, I don't know whether the right would be either getting more people in journalism schools or